Hello, hello, hello. I'm here all by myself, but I am working on trying to figure some things out. So I just decided I would do a pop-up live, see if anybody's interested in one of those. Trying to work on banners, trying to figure out how to do closed captioning. And I have got to learn how to share my screen and things like that. So couldn't sleep, so I just got up and was like, let me just try to get on here and figure this out. Um, Working on the banners right now. If nobody comes in, I would just delete this screen, this live after I'm done. If there's no real value in it, but if there's somebody else who can't sleep or maybe wants a replay later, then maybe they could watch it. I don't know. So that's what I'm doing here. Really hate insomnia. Insomnia sucks terribly, terribly bad. Terribly. I don't know what's worse. Is insomnia worse than depressive? I call it depressive sleeping, whereas you struggle with staying awake. You sleep probably, I've known some people who are depressed that sleep 15, 18 hours a day. Um, it's very sad, but I don't know which one's worse. I've had both, to tell you the truth. So right now I'm going through a insomnia thing where I just sometimes I can sleep an hour or two here, and I'm tired. Don't get me wrong, I'm very very tired, but my brain won't shut off. So I've tried the chamomile tea. I've tried all the things, right? Um, and it just doesn't shut me off. I have medication, but I don't like taking medication to sleep, so I don't. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure some of this stuff out. I got to learn more about this, how I'm doing. Hello, whoever's watching. Jump on in, say a few things. I'm just having insomnia, so I figured I'd come and try to figure all this out. So if you feel like chit chatting, I'm here. We can talk and chit chat, or we can sit in silence. It's up to you. Why are you awake? It may not even be nighttime where you're at. Here in Indiana, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And truthfully, I'll probably be up all night. And I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it, right? When you can't sleep, you can't sleep. Brain won't shut off. I wanted to say something though. I did try to take a nap earlier, and I couldn't get out of my head what Tashi had said last night at the end of my live, where we were talking about Brian Koberger, and um, I asked her to come up and talk to me a little bit about, because her and I think differently about Brian Koberger. I think that he's completely guilty, and she's like, well, maybe he's not. She tends to believe that maybe there was somebody else involved in it. I think I understood her that she believes that he had something to do with it, but not like by himself or whatever. She just didn't know what role he played in it. Hi, Millie Joe. I just clicked on the right thing so I could see you. It's nearly 6 p.m. here in Australia. Oh, wow. So you are ahead of me, correct? Australia's ahead of me. So you're already on like almost the end of this day, almost the end of Saturday, correct? Anyway, so I couldn't quit thinking about what Tashi said last night about that stupid knife sheath that was left um, in the house during the Idaho I like to call them the Idaho tragedy because it's just a complete tragedy. And I couldn't get it out of my mind. I was thinking everything she said, and I was like, she's so right. Like, I never even gave that any thought. And that's what's good about having people come and um, having a decent disagreement um, about things because maybe you can learn something from somebody else. At least that's what I do. I try, if I'm talking to somebody, I always try to take away something that they say. But um, the other thing that hit me, I'm a complete overthinker. I think about things so much. That's why my mind doesn't stop. I ponder a lot. I think a lot. Um, but I came to the conclusion about something today. There's overthinkers and then there's not overthinkers. Hold on, my dog's nail was caught in my pajama pants. Buddy. There you go, buddy. Sorry about that. And I don't think I'm an overthinker anymore. I think I am a obsessive thinker because overthinkers can, they think about things and they look at all different kinds of sides of it and things like that until they come to the conclusion, whatever conclusion they're going to stay with. At least that's the way that I look at overthinkers. My husband's an overthinker, but I am an obsessive thinker. So I obsess over stuff. So um, I obsessed definitely over what Tashi had said last night because I had never given that any thought about the knife sheath that she was talking about. So I wish I wasn't like that, but that's just who I am. Passion, right? I think it's called passion. Who else is here? Say hi. There's 3 people sitting right there. Melly Joe, what did you make for dinner? It's actually Sunday night. Wait, is this Saturday night? Oh my God, it all runs together. You're right. It is. This is late Saturday night, early Sunday morning for us already. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just all mixed up in my head right now. What'd you make for dinner? I'm curious. Tell me what you eat. We had bacon and eggs. How do you make your eggs? Is it the same way every time? Does it depend what you're making with the eggs? Scrambled, fried, boiled, poached, sunny side up. Are Melly Joe, you're from Australia, correct? So I know the English like to eat. I don't know what kind of eggs you guys call that. I don't know if it's called poached, but you guys they serve breakfast and whenever they eat an egg and the egg is sitting on this little egg dish and they kind of just crack the top and then they kind of dig this soupy kind of egg out. Um, is that called poached? I'm not sure. Do you guys eat eggs like that as well? And do you have your own chickens? That's boiled eggs. So they just don't eat hard boiled eggs like here. We say if it's a boiled egg, it's like a hard boiled egg. It's done. We cook the crap out of that thing. And believe me, it's so done that it's hard to get the shell off of it sometimes. So is a poached egg what you dip into water, hot boiling water? I've seen people do that too. They crack an egg and there's like a little utensil that you put it in and then you dip it down into hot boiling water. I think that's what a poached egg is. Man, I'm learning stuff. I'm smarter than I thought I was. Damn. So if you're not eating breakfast, what is something that you eat that we Americans don't eat? I know Germans eat a lot of pork, and I love pork. I really do. Pork roast, brats, sausage. I love pork. Americans seem to like beef, big time on beef, and then probably chicken. Who else is up there? I see you. I see your little eye right there. We eat a lot of lamb here. Oh, I've never eaten lamb. I take that back. I used to have a Greek uh, sister-in-law, and we went over her house one year for Easter, and she cooked a lamb leg or something. I don't know what it was, but I guess in the Greek culture they eat a lot of lamb on Easter, and I couldn't eat it, especially when they were like when she herself was saying, "I didn't cook it right. It doesn't taste right." I was like, "Hell, if it doesn't taste right to you, I sure as hell is not going to try it." Have you ever eaten anything wild like frogs, frog leg, snakes, shark? My ex-husband is from Mississippi, and they literally ate not just frog legs, they would eat the whole body. They would just skin it, take off the little webs, and skin it and clean it out, and they'd fry the whole body and they'd eat the whole thing. Grossed me out. Um, and then one time when I was there, this is the God's honest truth, you guys. One time when I was there, his mom cooked a raccoon, and it was in like one of those old fashioned pots that roasters that you would put into the oven. And she cooked a raccoon like you would cook a roast. Uh-uh. No, I draw the line. And I was scared, right? Because I was young and I was in their home and I was raised that, you don't upset the host, but there was no way that I could eat some of the stuff that they were eating. Raccoon? Who? I've never heard of that. Who eats raccoon? But I guess, and I asked my ex-husband about that afterwards when everybody went to bed. I was like, what is up with the raccoon? Like, and he said, you have to understand, we were poor. And when you're poor, you know, you can't go to the grocery store all the time, so you eat whatever you kill out there. I thank God I've never been that poor. I know. So sad, right? And then I was in a boat with them one time, and they don't call it frog hunting, they call it frog gigging. And so they told me they were going to take me frog gigging. I'd never done anything like this before, but they they look for frog. They hunt or gig for frogs at nighttime, and in this boat. And oh God, I was so scared to death because the snakes and stuff that were out there. And it's kind of like a swampy area that you go frog gigging in. And there was a beaver out there. This is no joke. There was a beaver out there, and his dad was like, told him, because his dad was driving the boat. Pardon me. His dad was driving the boat, and he was on the front of the boat, and I was in the middle of the boat. And his dad told him, "Hey, if we could catch the beaver, we could sell the tail for $10." Now this is back in 1985, and I was mortified because I could see the snake slithering in the water every now and then, and I could hear fish jumping and things. everything that goes bump in the night out there in the swamp. And I was so scared. And I was like, I will give you $20 right now not to touch that poor little beaver. Like, just leave it alone. And they didn't. And I thank God, but I just kept thinking, you're going to kill a beaver for its tail for $10, and then you're going to eat the beaver because they ate beaver meat. You're going to eat the beaver meat. And back in that time, $20 could have bought them a whole freaking refrigerator full of food. So thank God they didn't get that raccoon, I mean, that beaver. But could you imagine if they were trying to get that beaver and that boat tipped over in that water? I'd have been done. Like, the stuff that I've allowed myself to go through, it's amazing. Then one time they took me out. I was raised when I was a little girl um, in California, and so none of this stuff, you know, I and one time his dad had told me, "Hey, we're going to go pick up some manure." And well, in California, when we pick up manure, we just go to the store and pick up like 20-pound bags of manure, right? So I thought, okay, so I went and took a shower, got dressed, had on sandals and a nicer pair of jeans and a shirt. And I came out and he's like, "What are you wearing?" And I was like, "Is this unacceptable?" Um, hey Tina. I was like, "This is unacceptable." And he was like, "Well, we're going to get manure." I was like, "Yeah, I know." Because I thought we were going to the store to get manure. And he said, "Okay, well, if that's what you want to go in." I didn't know what that meant. So I got in the truck and we pulled up about 30. It took us about, oh, I'd say about 20 to 30 minutes to get to this place. And he pulled up to this old plantation home in Mississippi. And I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know if he was going to stop off and see a friend or anything. I mean, I only knew these people for a month before my ex-husband left and went to Germany and left me there with these people, right? So I um he took he went up to he said, "I'll be right back." And he got out of the truck and he walked up to the door. He spoke to somebody, came back, he got in the truck, and it was my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my baby, who was 3 months at the time, and myself in the cab of this truck. And he drove the truck around. Hold on just a minute, I gotta let my dogs out. He drove this truck around to the back of the plantation, and there was a barn back there. And so we all got out. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And he handed me a shovel. And I was like, "What am I doing?" And he's like, "Well, all that you standing on is not dirt, that's manure." And I was like, "Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me?" I was like, "How much manure do we need?" And he brought out this big old box of like 30-gallon trash bags. And he's like, "We got to fill all these up because I'm going to need enough manure until y'all get back from Germany." Because I stayed with them until my ex-husband got housing over in Germany for us to come to. And so we ended up I had to dig manure, and this stuff was really, really hard. I mean, it was so hard, the flies didn't want nothing to do with it until we got a good couple of layers off of it. And I we filled up all 30 of those big old 30-gallon bags, and then that wasn't enough. He wanted to fill up as much of the back of his pickup truck, just shoveling that shit in there, right? Shovel that in. As much as we could get in there with the bag sitting on top of it. We spent like 6 hours out there. Needless to say, my sandals didn't work anymore. My jeans were disgusting. My poor baby smelled, my 3-month-old beautiful little girl smelled like horse shit. And I couldn't believe what I was doing. But that's how they lived life. I know, right? Yuck, right? Does anybody want to come up and chit chat? Girl, I got some stories. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I got some stories. I'm gonna live some life. But I mean, now I look on back on it and hey, Aussie True Crime, good to see ya. Now I look back on things like that, I just kind of giggle. Um, but I just can't believe that I've done some of the stuff that I've done. Um, I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come up. I didn't plan on going live at all, but I couldn't sleep and was kind of bummed about a few things. And then the freaking knife sheath that Tashi had me thinking about, so I couldn't go to sleep. But I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come up and just tell me about their day or shoveling horse shit for their ex-in-laws. So happy I remember how to do this. Let me let me tell you really quick about the getting back to that frog story though. So that night they ended up catching 141 frogs. And these ain't those little cute garden frogs, you guys. These frogs are as big. If you put one hand on top of the other hand so that it's long ways, these frogs were that big. They were that huge. I didn't even know frogs came that big, right? So they they caught 141 frogs. They're all in these croaker sacks in the back of the truck, and then they have to skin them and do all this other stuff and put them away in the freezer, so they have them for years and years. Hell, I don't know. And then one frog jumped out of their hands, and they lived on a hill, so their backyard kinda went sideways down the hill. The fricking frog started jumping, and I'm talking about these are, like, big bullfrogs, and it was just jumping like, fast and long, and his dad told me, he's like, "Darling, go and get that frog." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Don't let that frog get away, we need that frog." And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my god, you people just got 141. You need one more frog to deal with?" It was crazy. It's crazy how people live. Anyways, that's just a couple of my true stories. Just the people are just coming in. I haven't not able to sleep. My brain's going crazy. So I thought, well, I'm gonna see how a pop-up live does if anybody wants to just sit around and shoot the shit. And then if not, I was just going to figure out how to do some stuff. Tina, I wanted to tell you that I figured out how to do the banners. And I could show you how to do that because remember the other night you were talking about, I wish it would just scroll across the bottom. So look what I did. This is the new one I did. So I made that one. I don't know how many you can make. So I have that one so far, and then I have that one, so I could show you how to do it. So the one that you have will scroll across the bottom for you. And you could do it in all different colors. So I figured that part out too. What I really need to figure out, and I'll probably just have to do find somebody on here that knows how to do it and that will do like a private thing with me where I could learn how to share my screen. Because next week, you guys, I don't know if any of you've heard of the case or are following the case of, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I've got it written down. I've got two different folders going on, one of true crime and then one of just things that if something comes to mind that maybe I want to do a live about, I write it down or else I'll forget it because I'm fucking old. All right, so his name is Derek Rosa, I think, Rosa, and he murdered his mom. And this happened back in October. He murdered his mom, and he had a newborn sister who she had just had a baby like 8, 9 days prior to him murdering his mom. At least he didn't harm his sister, but he's 13 years old. He's being tried as an adult in in the Florida courts. He's in prison. He's in a holding jail right now. But so I'm going to do that. I'm going to cover that case next week. So I'm trying to get as much information as I can. They have released some pictures and some body cam, not body cam. Well, they did release some body cam because it shows him, the police coming up to the apartment and taking his butt down. I mean, they threw him to the ground. And when they arrested him, because he called the police himself, um, you know, to tell them that he had killed his mom. But that, of course, was after he texted his friends pictures and, a cool little gang sign, whatever. He called the police on himself and told him he had murdered his mom. And so they released some of that, and they released a couple of images from the door cam of him coming in and out of the door prior to him murdering his mom. And then she had a baby cam set up um, in her room, which is where the baby's crib was. And so he's on actual camera, you guys, on that baby cam. He's actually on camera murdering his mom. But they didn't, they just show the point of when he comes up to attack her, and then it stops. Because of course they're not going to put that out. But at least they're not like being like Idaho, who's trying to cover up every freaking thing. Um, and keep gag orders on everybody, but he's 13 years old. He was an honor student. He was an honor student. I mean, to look at him, he just looked like a really good kid. It's so, so sad. I know. I know it's horrific. I know. But I really want to cover it, especially since he's 13 years old and they're going to try him as an adult. Um, so I've almost got everything on it that I think I've got everything on it that I want to cover. I just have to teach myself or figure out how to share my screen so I could show, the different reports. I already sent off for the PCA, so I don't know. I just really want to cover that one. I like that one. Do you do you think he has mental health issues? Why, I would think you would have to, right? You know, they always say about people who have been serial killers and people who murder like that they're some of the most intelligent people. But then they also say some of the most intelligent people have mental health issues, that they learn to use their brain differently. I truly believe that if you have mental health issues, whether it's depression or it's anxiety or bipolar, whatever, I think that the body somehow has learned to use the brain differently than other people have. And once your brain has like unlocked that part, it doesn't go back. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think of. Or the other thing I think of about mental health is why didn't we hear so much of it back in the day? I mean, I know my grandmother back in the day, the drug was Valium, right? And so my grandma had anxiety, um, and I understand that it wasn't talked about as much now. Like now, at least we all talk about it, and we're not. I don't feel like I think the stigmatism on mental health has gotten so small. Um, but I also think that it's gotten so huge that now it's being used as an excuse. Like some people just use their behavior or attention seeking to say, "Oh, I've got anxiety. Like I can't do that. I have anxiety." You know what I mean? So you never know who to believe anymore about it. But for a 13-year-old to be able to pull off that type of I mean, something was going on there. Maybe he's just one of those people that just can't feel anything. I don't know. What do you call those people that can't, my brain's not working really well right now, but those mentally ill people that don't have any kind of feelings, what is that called again? Mental health problems. Um, not There's a word for it. Yes, mental health problems back in the day was a taboo subject. Yeah. You know, and a lot of what imagine this. So there's mental health problems and then there's like autoimmune disease, which I am a firm believer that some autoimmune disease, such as the thyroid, and that's what I have. That's the autoimmune disease I have. I'm hypothyroid, and that I think that um, I think they kind of go hand in hand sometimes. But imagine those women back in the day, and you don't ever really hear about men too much about it, but when women back in the day, how they would say that they were mad, like crazy, being mad, that kind of thing. And all those poor women that were put in these asylums and these really scary mental institutions and stuff like that, when probably really if it was in today's world, like there's something that could have helped them. You know what I mean? Some of it, um, they weren't were they really mad or was it a hormone imbalance? Or was it an autoimmune disease that affects your emotions? Or was it anxiety? I mean, the lobotomies, all of the crazy stuff, the barbaric stuff that was done to these poor women. I mean, I'm sure it happened to men too, but it's not talked about as much with men, and I think it's because women's hormones put women through more stuff, right? Like we have more what do you call it? Symptoms, and they manifest out in the open. So because I believe a lot of these women suffer from hormone issues or things like that, they were considered mad and they were doing all kind of crazy stuff to them in these institutions. And it's so sad. So sad what people went through. We've come a long way. We really have. We've come a long way with the whole mental health thing. And even my son, my youngest son is 20 years old and he's talked to me about a couple of things and I've asked him about, his generation and what they think about mental health. Do they make fun of people with it? Is it a and he's like, "Mom," he's like, "Really?" He's like, "It's such a real thing." And it is so he's like, "We feel like," he said, "I can speak for my friend group and for the people that I hang out with." Like he said, "We actually get together and we talk about it. We talk about how we're feeling and keep an eye on each other um and pay attention to maybe some behavioral changes, and always make we don't make fun of stuff like that because there's in their generation, there's more people unaliving themselves because of it. And he said, there's not one of us that don't know somebody who had something going on mentally in their life that they took their own life. And he's like, so he said, for the most part, he said, the people I know, we have made a safe place, hopefully, for all of us that if we're struggling, there's always someone to talk to. And he said, "So I think it's good." He said, "I think it's really good to talk about mental health." So, we did something right. I mean, this generation, I mean, I know that there's a lot more evil in the world right now than there was back when we were all kids, but I think there is hope maybe for, kids of my youngest son's generation who, look at it as it's kind of everybody's responsibility to check on everybody, you know? And I think that's really a good way to look at it. My auntie suffered mental health problems. She was in and out of hospital, but eventually she took. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. I am so sorry to hear that. Yes, we have to talk a lot of mental health problems. Yeah. So my hope is that we've done enough good with mental health that that the next young people coming up, that they'll keep that topic going and they'll always have a safe place for people who need it instead of just throwing them into these hospitals and getting mistreated because that's not helping anything. It's not. I brought up two special needs children. The mental health affected all four of my children, but it made them so kind and understanding as adults. Well, you know what? I think that Aussie True Crime, that wasn't just, um, I mean, kudos to them for, turning something that can be so tragic as mental health problems into great kids. But I think that also comes from having a great mom who let them didn't didn't stigmatize it, right? I mean, you guided them in the right direction where they could be very kind and understanding people, and that's important. You know, there's still too many people out there that use the word crazy too much now. I'm not offended by it. I call myself crazy, but I'm not talking about my mental health. I'm talking about that I'm just a pissed off, crazy, middle-aged woman. It's just the way that it goes. It has nothing to do with my mental health, you know. But there are people that still use mental health against people, but I think it is getting better. I think we absolutely do have hope in the generation that's coming up from it. Read this real quick. Um, Her husband, my uncle, also took his life 5 years later, and he never had mental health issues. I believe, too, it was caused from having shingles. I've never had shingles, but I have heard that is like the one of the most painful things a human body can go through. I I can't imagine being in that much pain because there's really nothing you can do with that kind of pain, right? With the shingles pain, there's nothing. I mean, I guess they could put you on narcotics, but I mean, I've even heard sometimes that doesn't help. And then shingles last for a long time. Once you get it, it takes like a month or two to get over them. Is that correct? Am I correct in that? Um, but to be in that much pain that you just can't stand to live anymore is extremely sad. I'm sorry to hear about that. You have Cam feels more personal. Well, burnt dice, burnt dice. Have you subscribed? Answer me that one. Have you subscribed, burnt dice? And then I'm going to answer that question for you. I had shingles twice. Got it from my wife both times. It sucks. Yeah. I didn't know it was contagious, and I was actually putting the medication on my uncle's back who had it. Um, I didn't know why nobody else wanted to do it. His wife didn't want to do it, and I didn't know it was contagious. So I was like, I'll do it for you. I thought they just didn't want to do it because it hurt to put, from what I understand, it hurt just to put the cream on it. So I thought maybe that's why nobody wanted to touch him. But I didn't find out till years later that shingles are contagious. So maybe that's why they didn't want to touch him, huh? No, I haven't. Just found your channel now. Well, thanks for jumping in, Burnt Dice. Please subscribe to my channel. You don't have to like me to subscribe. You don't have to hate me to subscribe. Please just subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this. And really, you know what? I'm not doing it for anything other than I'm not putting no cash up there. There's nothing up there that says, give Leanie some money. It's not about that. To me, it's about having It's a connection. I want a connection with people. I want to learn about people's lives. Um, I want just, on nights like this, I can't sleep or talk about true crime, things like that. I want, there's got to be somebody out there who's got some kind of passion that I've got. But in answer to your question, yes, I have a camp. I have it close right now. And this is what I thought. I thought, I'm going to give myself a month at this whole live streaming thing, right? That's what I'm going to do. And I'll put my picture up there, and I did. I have. And that picture, I'm not going to lie, is about 5 years old. That was like the year before COVID. So it's about 5 years old. Yeah. And I thought, I am not going to put my face out there, my name out there, too much information where anybody could find me. If in 30 days I decide this is not working out, like I'm not meant to do this, nobody really cares, you know, um, then I decided I could just walk away or I could still hang out in people's chats like I've been doing for the last 2 years and nobody will ever know I was there. But after I get to a certain amount of subscribers, and that's why I asked you if you had subscribed, um, then I plan on just camming up. But I mean, if I don't know it's going to work, why would I put myself out there? And then I'll just be in people's chats, like, you know? So if that makes sense, great. If it doesn't make sense, it will. So I hope that was, I hope that's understandable. Melly Joe, yes, my dad had shingles and I've never seen him in such pain before. Wow. They say that you get shingles only if you've had the chicken pox. Is that true? I have like 15K views on my videos. Not a lot, I know. Well, I've got way less than that, honey. Mr. Burnt Dice, I've got way less than that. This is first time I've ever popped up on a live, and I've done 3 lives prior to this. But I've been hanging around the tubes for about between a year and a half and 2 years, just figuring things out. And then got the push about a month ago just to take the deep dive, and I did. And here I am. And I really like it. I've met some really cool people. And that's the game plan. Hey, hippie grandma. Hippie grandma, that was you on my Facebook, right? Hit me up on Facebook. I accepted your friend request and I really appreciate your friend request so much. Yes, it's an adult form of chicken pox. That is so people that had never had chicken pox, like let's just say my kids that have never had chicken pox because they were vaccinated, or my grandkids that were vaccinated from it. All my kids had chicken pox, but my grandkids, will they not get shingles because they don't have the Cheyenne? They don't have the chicken pox gene, virus, whatever in their system. Is that how that works? Nice. I have 3 kids. Fits with 5K each. I haven't made much content besides that. Hmm. Well, get on it. How long have you been on YouTube, Burnt Dice, and what channels do you go to? What do you like about YouTube? What's your interest? Give us the 411. We want to know. Little girl, get down. Hippie grandma says I've had shingles 2 times. Both was internal. Internal. The rash remains under the skin and it's very painful. I didn't know that. I thought it just uh, I thought it just comes out. Like when I was rubbing my uncle's back, I could literally feel the bumps, and I was like, "Oh, that's why they call them shingles, because it kind of does feel like shingles from a roof." Maybe 10 fits altogether. Okay. I'll be back. I have to go feed the fur babies. All right, Aussie True Crime. Mine are sitting here barking and fussing at me. I don't know what they want because I have fed them. The door's wide open. It's freaking freezing outside. It's probably only like 12 degrees out there. Um, so, and what kind of fur babies do you have? Curious to know that. I've been on YouTube for a long time, like artist V18. Little girl, little girl, get down. No jumping. I've been on YouTube for a long time. I like Artist V1, LOL Cow Podcast, Mr. Maddie's Plays, and many, many more. Hmm. I've actually never heard of none of that. Do you like is the LOL Cow thing about is that okay, I'm not gonna put any words there in your mouth. Um tell me what that LOL cow thing. I've heard that a lot, LOL cows or lol cows. I don't even know what that is. Tell me about that. Hippie Grandma says, Burr, you are contagious while having shingles, so someone can get chickenpox from you. No shit. I did not know that. Wow. You are contagious while having shingles, so someone can get chickenpox from you. It's craziness. Thanks for accepting my friend request. I will be messaging you. Yeah. Yeah, please message me. Please. Let's chit chat. I love it. Please message me. You came back in last night, hippie grandma, and then the next thing you know, you were gone again. 'Cause somebody, yeah, I think it was Warrior that was calling you, and I was like, I just thought to myself, oh, she must already fell back asleep again. So, burnt dice. That one is about Boogie and Wings, who are like clowns of YouTube. It's like gossip TV. Oh, I get it. I get it. So it's gossip about people on YouTube? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I fell asleep. We thought you did, hippie grandma. We thought it got good. Tashi, I don't know if you were. Did you come back in when Tashi came up? So we talked a little bit about the Idaho 4, and it was really. We only got to talk for about 20 minutes, but it was interesting. I actually really loved the live yesterday. Rose, um, just her stories, man, she just tells from the heart, doesn't she? She just, I mean, she pumps out that chest and like it or hate it, she tells you her story and it's amazing to me. I couldn't get enough. I was so happy. I think it was Warrior also who is the one that asked about her dad because we've all heard about her mom. Her stories about her mom a couple of times in her chat, but none of us, some of us had not heard about her dad. So her story about her dad was just, and we just scrubbed the surface, I'm sure of it, but I really loved it. I love that. My plan is to try to do one of those kind of things at least once every other week if I could get um, somebody who will come up and talk to me about questions that I have about their lives, their real lives, without getting. I will never go personal. I will never ask you personal questions about your real life. I will not dox you. That's not who I am. I just want to hear stories. That's it. That's it. Just about your lives, like stupid stories about catching a freaking frog running down the freaking hill that I did catch, by the way, and I brought back to them, by the way, only for them to kill them and fry them up and try to get me to eat them. That didn't happen. Burnt dice, yeah. A lot of locale is like people that are made fun of and like it for $1 or for money. It's people who make drama for a month. Oh no. Oh, that is not my jam. No, you know, mm-mm. Now I like watching roasts on TV, like when people roast different people, but I couldn't watch that every day, every night. I, e especially if it was someone that I care about, I'd get all kind of shitty. Yes, I think I fell asleep while Tashi was on. Yeah, it was good. We're gonna get together and do another. Um, I really would like to delve deeper into that. The problem, I don't like jumping on bandwagons when everybody's talking about it. Um, I don't want to. I don't want to talk. Um, Summer Wells, as sad as that is, and I have my own theory about that. You're not going to see that over here, and it's just because it's what else can we say, right? It's been done so much in and out and up and down and all around. And until prayerfully it comes around and we find her, it's going to be the same bullshit all the time. And that's what it's turned into is a circus ring. I'm not going to do it. If people want to hear it, there's like 5 different channels a day that are talking on her. And so, I will always speak on Idaho 4. If something new comes out and give my take on it, I will always speak on Delphi because I live here in Indiana and I live it. Um, but I like some of the forgotten ones. Like, do you guys remember over the summer that lady? What was her name? She had left California on the way to the Midwest to go to a family member's wedding, and she only made it to Arizona. She came up missing after a cop had found her by a cemetery and she was crying. And anyway, so it was all over the news for a long time, for a little while, anyways. And she came up missing with her bearded dragon and then just dropped off the face of the earth. Like I actually went looking for something on her yesterday, and there's nothing new out there on it. Those make me go, hmm. Those are the ones I like to talk about. Let's see. Rose, Rose definitely has an interesting life. Yeah. Yeah. She's packed a lot of life into her years. That's for sure. I love hearing about lives. I love stories too. I really do. I love Rose. I love her too. I'm learning very quick. Burnt Dice said it's like a gossip show that's like on TV. I don't know. I don't know. Roasting someone constantly is just not my thing. I mean, if you piss me off, I'll gladly roast you. Go ahead. Um, but just but some people like to be roasted too, right? Burnt dice. Some people, I mean, it gives them listen, negative publicity is publicity. A lot of people make money off of negative publicity. Now I don't want it every day. They have a podcast once or twice a week. Oh, nice. Okay, I got it. Hey, warrior. I was just talking about you a minute ago. I hope you are well today. I hope you've had a great day, warrior. Warrior, did you throw my wrench back at me? Just curious. My story goes from victim to survivor and now a warrior, and I wear my armor proudly. Hippie Grandma, what do I got to do to get you on panel and let me interview you? What do I got to do? I mean, if you are nervous about paneling up, mine is the best one to do it on. I know you guys are really Rose's or Tina's people, and I don't want to take their people or their platform away, but um, it's a small community over here, and you could practice right along with me if you choose to. But I'm telling you, once you're up once or twice, it's like just speaking to somebody on the phone. It's no big deal. And I think your story would be great. I would love to hear it. It probably would take a little while, but we were on with Rose last night for 5 hours and I was not bored one time. I was sitting like here at the edge of my seat listening to her. I could not believe it. It's amazing to me. Burnt Dice says, I'm married with a kid, too busy. Nice. Nice. How old's your girl or boy? How's your son? You can, I got a feeling it's a son and I don't know why, but um, if you want to tell me how old you can, if you don't, then you don't have to. Um, hey, Millie Joe. Let's see. Greetings, chat. Millie Joe, how are you? Hippie Grandma welcomes you too. Hit the thumbs up. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. I will hit you up and we will schedule it. Oh, Hippie, I'll tell you what, I will let you schedule it. You tell me, Hippie Grandma, what is a good day for you and I will make it happen. I'm serious. Your time, and I will make sure I'm here whenever you want to do it. We will do the damn thing because I think everybody's great story got a great story to tell, but um, something tells me that yours is going to be riveting as well. I would love to hear it. Can't wait. So let me know. Your you you've got my Facebook Messenger, so just go in there, schedule a time, and then we will do. Oh, so happy to do that. Warrior, did you throw the wrench back? I don't know if you did. I won't be offended if you did. I need to ask a question about something though. I am retired. My schedule is pretty open. Ah, well, I'm telling you, I will be here. I'll let you tell me when you feel comfortable with doing it, and I will make it happen. I would love it, love it, love it. In fact, that goes for any of you guys. If you want to get on and let me interview you and um I'm not going to ever get too personal. Like I said, I will not dox anything you tell me or anything I find out. I'm not going to go looking for your town, your city, your name, your kids, your husbands, your wives, that's not who I am. All I want to know is your story. That's it. And you have the right to say, darling, I'm not going to answer that. Or you could say, I'm not comfortable answering that. And I'm not going to be offended at all because, some things are really hard to talk about. But my thing is sometimes we need to tell stories because it helps. There's always someone behind us, right? Always somebody behind us that needs to hear it. And if you can make it through it, maybe they can make it through it. Yeah. Hippie Grandma says, okay, I'll get my thoughts together and get with you. Thank you so much, Hippie Grandma, for stopping by. You have a good night. Seems fair at Leany last night was awesome. Warren, I was so riveted by her, like her honesty and her so willing to be. I mean, it was raw to me. I mean, some of that stuff she's talking about is not easy to talk about. And she was so honest with us and raw and just put it out there. And oh, one minute my heart was crying for her. And the next minute I felt like she was champion a way for somebody, and then you felt victory in some things and you felt things that she was still trying to work through and just the honesty and the grind and the whole rawness of her life is just freaking amazing to me. Amazing. Everybody's wishing hippie grandma sleep well kind of night. All right. Oh, I was going to ask you guys something. So when I do a live, I do it through StreamYard. So I come over to the StreamYard itself, and that's where I start my live from, or I schedule the live. Can I do a live actually from the YouTube channel u using StreamYard, I guess? Because I tried to set it up through the YouTube channel because last night, whenever I needed Warrior to, mod for me, I had to, like, close out of StreamYard, go open up YouTube, and that's how I got lost in internet space. So, um, that's one thing I gotta figure out is, like, how because from so I was looking, and as far as I could see from StreamYard, I can't make anybody a mod. So that's why I went over to, YouTube to give Warrior a wrench, and, then I got lost out there in space somewhere, and it took me a minute to find my way back. So, when so I did pop up and, try to start a live over there, and then nothing happened, and I was like, "I don't know how to do it," because I because Rose told me last night that I had to go over to YouTube to make Warrior a mod. So I guess I was so lost in space, Warrior Nun. The whole YouTube thing makes me feel like I'm lost in space. Like, and you've got windows open, and it's like, "Oh my god, if I close this one out, am I gonna end up closing the live? If I open this one up, what's gonna happen here? Are fireworks gonna shoot out of my screen?" It's just I feel like I'm in space, you know, like what I can do and what I can't do. That's just what it feels like. So I guess I'm just gonna have to, like the banner thing that I was talking about, I I just went to YouTube and then I typed in like how to create scrolling banners, and bada bing, bada bang, it told me how to do it, and I was like, right on. So I had that. So that's what I was doing over here tonight. I was like, well, if nobody comes in here to chit chat with me, then I'm gonna sit here and try to figure out how to share screen so that when we do true crime, then you don't have to sit here and look at my mean mug and um, which I'm a mean mugger anyways, to tell you the truth, and I don't mean nothing by it. That's just the way that my face is. I can't help it. I just can't help it. I'm not pissed off. I just kind of look pissed. I am pissed off. Damn it. But before I became a middle-aged pissed off woman, I looked pissed off all the time. That's what people used to tell me. I either look mean or pissed off, and I don't try to. But yeah, so unless I learn how to share screens, then that's what you guys are gonna have to look at. And then I think my goal is so does anybody know how many subscribers are there now? Let me look really quick. All right, so there's 111 subscribers. What up? Who knew that was gonna happen? I feel like I didn't hit the big time. I think once I get to let me just put this here, 350. Once I get to 350 subscribers, I was gonna do 500, but it may take me 20 years to get to 500. So once I get to 350 subscribers, I'll cam up. How's that? So tell your people to subscribe. My dad called me today from Tennessee and he said, "Hey," he said, I didn't even know my dad did YouTube. He's 81 years old. And he was like, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." He said, "I heard you talking about some some true crime thing that we were talking about in the second live is the one that he caught." And he's like, "But how come all I see is a picture of you?" I was like, "Dad, are you sure it's me?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, it's your picture." And he said, "I heard you talking about this." And he was right. That was what we were talking about. And I said, "Have you subscribed?" And he said, "I don't know how to do that." I was like, "Dad, how are you able to find me, but you don't know how to subscribe?" I was like, "It won't cost you anything. It doesn't. It's totally free. You never have to do anything for me but hit that subscribe button. And and so I told him what to do, but he told me that because he's on, I hear you, Cheyenne. He's on my Facebook page, so he saw me post about it. So he just clicked the link from there. But I thought it was pretty cool. My dad came and checked me out. He didn't stay long, so I showed him how to subscribe, so he did. I was really happy to hear that. My 81-year-old dad, precious, precious guy. He lost his 3 years ago. He lost his wife, and he told me tonight that he thinks he's ready for love again. And I was like, right? I was like, Dad, I'm so happy for you. And he's like, really? Because I think there's a couple of the kids that aren't happy. I was like, fuck your kids. And I'm one of his kids, right? So those are my siblings. So I could say it. I was like, fuck your kids. I was like, tell them to call me if they got a problem with it. And I was like, man, women, all of us were not meant to walk alone. We just weren't. That's why more people were put here, right? And I was like, everybody needs love. I don't care if you're 100 years old. And he said, well, I'm loved. I said, yeah, I love you. Your other children love you. He has no siblings left. He has no real family left. His kids are all he's got left. And I said, but we're not companionship, Dad, and that's a whole different story. And so he thanked me for saying that to him, and um, I'm super excited for him because I want him to have companionship. I don't want him to be lonely. But I think so. It's the oldest daughter that's given him hell, and we have different mothers about um, dating or trying to find a lady friend because she lives with him. And I honestly think it's because I think it's because she thinks that if my dad gets hooked up with some woman that she's going to end up having to move out. Well, the bitch is like 60 something years old. She needs to move out. Just because she's turned into an incel doesn't mean my dad has to be an incel. All right, let's get back here. Tried earlier to do a live and I came in to say hi, but it ended. Okay, so that's what happened at Melly Joe. That's what happened at YouTube. That's when I first started it at YouTube, but nothing came up on the screen. Like I had the cam ready, I had the mic set up, everything, but it was a blank screen and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to do it. So I was like, screw it, I know how to do it over in StreamYard. So that's when I closed. I I hear you. Um, that's why I just closed it out and came over here to StreamYard. What does 111 mean? Oh, 111, that's how many subscribers. Thank you, Warrior. Yes, 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 yes. It took me a while to realize sometimes when you guys go into like a chat, I would notice that some people would put the number sign in the like number 126 or number 18 or number 100. And I realized that when you guys put that, that means that I love you too. That means that's the number of the person coming into the chat, correct? So like if it's on 99 and you walk in, then your chatter number 100. Is that correct? If that's correct, I found that to be really, really cool. Aussie True Crime, welcome back. Welcome back. What kind of animals do you have? What kind of animals do you have? You guys, let me just tell you this real quick. So this is Cheyenne barking, and we talked a little bit about Cheyenne last night, and she's my oldest. So if you listen to her, hush, Cheyenne, what she's saying is, I love you. And what I love you means, it's the God's honest truth. What I love you, just wait. What I love you means is that she wants me to give her a snack. Cheyenne, I love you. You say it. You say it. I love you too. All right, so I'll get her a snack real quick. The other two dogs I didn't teach to say that. I don't know why. But if Cheyenne is hungry and it's time for her to eat, she'll rah rah roo. And if she wants a snack, she'll say that too. If she has to go potty, it's just one bark. And if that's the only time she barks is when she is ready to eat. Or can you guys still hear me? I'm kind of walked away from the computer. So give me just a second with that. Here, Nate, you can play with that. Um, so yeah, that's the only two times that she barks. And the other little ones, they bark just to play around with each other. But all right, let's see. I'll see True Crime. Good to see you. Yes, yes, that's right. Awesome, Melly Joe. No, we can still hear you. Okay, good. Okay, so I'll say True Crime. What kind of animals do you have? Did Tina leave? Is she still here? PCT, are you still here? Or did you dip? Let me take a drink really quick. All right, so let's see. If you guys ever want to cover something or you think that something will be a good thing to chit chat about or have a live about, you can look me up on Facebook at According to Leanie. I'm over there, and then just send me a message through there. You can get in touch with me over there. I also have a Gmail account, and it's according to Leanie at gmail.com. So everything is according. You type in according to Leanie, you're gonna find me some way, somehow. Um, I'm super excited about um, God, I'm getting tired. Hippie grandma gonna let me interview her. That's gonna be good. I have a Staffy and a Shih Tzu. They're my babies. Okay, I don't know what a Staffy is. Is it a small dog too, like a Shih Tzu? Hey, Warrior. I know I was thinking about something you had said to me. I think on the first live. I think it was you that said it to me. Not sure, but I was asking the difference in our languages. Words. This is what I'm talking about, obsessive thinking. I'll remember something from a week ago and keep going with it. But either Warrior said it or maybe it was Melly Joe. One of you guys had said when I asked what the differences in our language is, and you said the R. And I was like, oh, okay, because in my head I was thinking I know you both are from Australia, but in my head I was thinking English, and I know English doesn't use the R that much. That's why I was saying governor. And and then when I heard Tashi last night talking, who I guess is Australian too, and it is because every word that came out of her mouth was an R. Um, and and so when I was trying to lay down and go to sleep, and all this is coming to mind, I could hear her voice and I was like, "Oh my god, I must have sounded like an idiot to them," because I was like, "Oh, so you're thinking Americans do the hard R," but what you were telling me was Aussies use the R a lot. R and ah here in Australia. Australia. I have to hit my what do you call that where you can Google it and it translates the sound for you so I could come up with that and be able to say it. Love that. Yes. So, just another obsessive thinking thing, but I want you to know it may have taken me like 3 days to figure out what you were saying, but I did get it only because Tashi came up and because of her accent, and I was like, "Oh my god, they must have thought I was an idiot." A Staffy is a bull terrier. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I have 3 golden retrievers, and they're the loves of my life too. They, animals are so healing, I think. I think there's a certain time in the of a certain time in everybody's life that at some point they're gonna need some sort of animal, whether it be, um, a dog, a cat, a bird, anything like that, because sometimes humans are too much, and, um, animals I don't think you have to explain things to animals. I think they just feel it. So, I think one point in time everybody needs an animal. All right, guys, I've been on here for an hour and 16 minutes. I don't want to keep you guys long. I appreciate you guys just for showing up and letting me chit chat for a minute and figure out some things. Um, I'm still going to sit here and try to figure out things, but I will in the stream. But thanks for coming and hanging out with me. And we are lazy. Is that what it is? We are lazy when we speak. So is it a dialect or does everybody in Australia talk the same? Because you know how, like in the States, we have different accents depending on where you're from, but we also have different dialects. I was a disability worker and have 2 special needs children, so my dogs were aids for them. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Yes. Aussie speaks Aussie. I like it. I dig it. Because we even have words, like I'll say some words. Like I say I Swanee a lot and it means and that's from my southern roots, right? I Swanee. Instead of saying I swear, I say I Swanee. And so it's like that. You know what I mean? Like and so people in the north are like, what the hell is a Swanee? So y'all don't have that as much over there. It's just the way Aussies are. Okay. Well, I'm still gonna learn me some. I'm gonna learn me it. Rosa's got it down pretty good. Y'all been hanging out with her for a while. That's why. Either that or she was an Aussie in her past life. I don't know. All right, guys, I'm gonna shut this down. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. It means so much to me. I appreciate you guys so much. And probably won't go live tomorrow's Super Bowl Sunday here in the States. It's gonna get not super. Oh my gosh. That's how tired I am. It's not Super Bowl Sunday. It is Daytona 500 tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know anything about our racing over here, NASCAR racing, but tomorrow is a big day in the racing community. My husband's family is very, very big in it. My husband, my sons, all were racers. And so the Daytona 500 in my home is just as big as the Super Bowl in my home. So tomorrow there's that. And then got to give dog baths and clean my house and do all that. So I won't be going live tomorrow, but I think I am going live on Monday. So um, I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you haven't hit the subscribe, please, please, please do so. I'd rather you do that than hitting a thumbs up any day just so that I can reach more people. And I appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you guys probably on Monday night. Have a good night. Big hugs. Bye, guys.